Man. Whew. So this video is going to be a little bit difficult. Bear with me because I'm trying to protect his privacy. So some of you guys know and some of you don't, but when a person has voluntarily, let me talk about their recovery journey on my platform, when stuff starts going really south for them, I back off a little bit on the social media aspect. And that's because the internet likes to bully vulnerable people, and that is never helpful. So usually if stuff starts heading south, you'll see less and less on my page about the individual. This is my brother. This is a little bit different, but I'm still going to try to protect his privacy the best of my ability. The first time I seen him awake, like fully awake and alert was yesterday. And he was trying his hardest to walk up out of there. So my brother was ordered a 5 milligram oxy, and he was ordered, I think, 2 milligrams of Dilaudid every 6 hours. And they were flopping it back and forth. And he had the choice between the Dilaudid or the oxy. And he told the nurse that he wanted the Dilaudid, and they brought him the oxy and then told him he couldn't have the Dilaudid for a few hours, which infuriated him, and he wanted to walk up out of there. And no hate to this nurse. She did an amazing job. She heard me out. I was able to educate her and maybe change her viewpoint for future. Everybody has to take a minute to learn something. And if you're willing to sit there and listen and be taught, then there's hope for you. So Danny was in the room trying to keep him on the bed because he was trying to leave. So I ran out and spoke to the nurse. I'm like, when can he have his Dilaudid? Because that is the problem. And she said in 3 hours. And I'm like, well, he asked for the Dilaudid. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, why would you give him the Oxycontin? And she said, well, he just seemed like he was drug seeking. So, I swallowed everything. I probably made the most ratchet face that you could possibly make because I was very triggered. But I educated her on why that's causing more issues. I told her she better just eliminate drug seeking out of her vocabulary altogether. I explained what happened to me on that very unit. As a harm reduction specialist, I 100% get what she was trying to do. She was trying to, deter him from wanting the IV meds and just, but it's not the time right now. Okay, there's a time and place for everything. Right now was not the time to try to get him to want pills instead of IV meds. It's not the time. So he has been sedated for days. Literally, like I said, yesterday was the first day since last Tuesday that he's been awake. He had his whole stomach cut open, and then that was stretched open for 2 days because I couldn't find the internal bleeding. He had lacerations on his liver. He had a broken pelvis in 2 places, and he has screws in his hip and a rod in the other part of his pelvis. And then he had multiple broken ribs, and his whole body is black and blue. And he got a couple teeth knocked out. With this situation, the hospital would not let him leave AMA, but he was still trying to get up, rip out IVs, rip off blood pressure cuffs, and he was still trying to get up. Okay, that was my concern. I'm like, dude, just sit down. And he looked at me, and as soon as I walked in there, he's like, you guys are screwed. My sister's here. He's all screaming, she'll make sure I get my drugs. He's all, she's gonna go get me a pack on Elmira if you don't freaking do something. And I'm just like, no, the fuck, she does not. But anyways, the nurse had to call security and all this crap went down, and he looked at the security guy and was like, you a big ass motherfucker. It's like asking him his name. They came in, they fist pounded, and then the security guy walks out, and he's like, he shouted the security guy's name because he got his name. It was like, such and such. He's got a pistol on his hip. Hey, don't fuck with him. I was like, oh my God. Then he's like, me, Dan, and Janine can take this big motherfucker. So the other part of that was the hospital was unaware that he was on Suboxone. He was on 2 freaking 8 milligram strips a day, bro. And that face that he made when I first seen him, man, it was detox. And I had to explain to the nurse, like, listen, he's coming off of buprenorphine right now. Like, these opiates, yeah, they're helpful, but they're not really getting down to the problem. So anyways, I talked to the doctor. The doctor got him a shot of Dilaudid right then and there, and he's going to continue the IV meds for the rest of the night because that was the only way he wasn't going to leave, which as soon as he got those meds, he sat down, he chilled out. Like, we need to stop going through this, medical staff. Like, if they want a certain drug and they're ordered it, give them that drug, regardless if you think they're drug seeking, and shout out to all the nurses and everybody. Y'all doing a great job. And I was so happy that everybody could sit down and listen to what I had to say. And then we came up with a solution, because it wouldn't have went down good if we didn't come up with a solution. It would have been slurred all over the internet. That's what would have happened. Like, after the doctor came in and told him, listen, we'll start your Suboxone tomorrow. We'll give you Dilaudid all night. You know, we'll do that. And he started asking about his Suboxone. When is this motherfucker putting me on my Suboxone? I just want to say, like, this hospital is doing a pretty good job. Like, a pretty good job. And I just wanted to give a shout out